Dropsa is an innovator and manufacturer of lubrication solutions to many different markets and industries all over the world. One of our solutions, MQL, or minimum quantity lubrication, allows machine operators to quickly and easily remove water-based coolant from the machining process. This solution can be done either externally, outside of the tool, or for the best results, we can retrofit to machines with through-tool coolant capabilities to allow the aerosol to travel down the spindle and lubricate the tool as it cuts. The end results can be extended tool life, improved cycle times, a clean, safe working environment, clean, dry chips, and improved production off the machine. But don't take our word for it. Here's one of our customers talking about their journey from coolant to Dropsa MQL. Visioneering is a leading designer, manufacturer, and installer of complex, high-quality assembly tooling systems for the aerospace, defense, and space systems market.
Changing our systems over from coolant to the Dropsa air oil system was relatively easy due to the fact we just used the existing circuitry in the system. We went ahead and tapped into the coolant lines.
My name is Marty. I run a 5-axis machine for Visioneering. I've been running that particular machine for about 4 years now.
My name is Woody Smith, and I run a 5-axis machine at Visioneering.
When I first started running that machine, we was running like a water-based coolant, kind of like a milky texture.
When I first started, pretty much everyone was using coolant in the shop, and I mean, there was places you wouldn't want to walk because it smelled that bad, and that's the God's honest truth.
The overall conditions of our machines when we use coolant, before we had the Dropsa system, it was a mess. Coolant's in everything, it's in the bearings, the machine is sticky, it's messy.
But when we was running coolant, there was always that you could see it and you could feel it almost in the air because everybody ran it, and it was really more than you needed because it was like a flush system. It washed the chips away, pushed them away, so there was a lot of liquid.
15 people using coolant, it smelled awful.
I used to pour bleach down there to take some of that smell away.
We used to have a guy come around, have to maintenance all the tanks, the smell.
It'd be in the air, it'd be on the job, it'd be on the surfaces, it'd be on the floor in front of you.
It was an everyday event. We had to buy systems to maintain the coolant. They were expensive, costly.
When I was running just a coolant, every time you want to look at your part, open the doors, you was getting splashed with it. You couldn't get in and really watch the details. I do a lot of finish work, a lot of fine work, and I like to get in and look at it as I'm cutting.
Say we're doing a side drill coming 90 degrees to the job and you only got a 4-inch tool, sometimes that coolant will come out so heavy out of the spindle, I mean, you literally could not see the tool. You couldn't see if you were shanking out, you know what I mean? You couldn't see anything.
And then we switched over to the Dropsa system. I was the first machine to try it, and so nobody really knew exactly what to expect.
We found that going to the air oil system, we have none of these maintenance issues anymore.
I was concerned that the tool life wouldn't be there because there wasn't as much coolant coming out. And for me, it was like the best thing that ever happened. I can actually watch my job better. I can leave the doors open if I want.
With the Dropsa, you just make sure the air hose, or use the through coolant, which is fantastic, and you're good to go. You can see everything.
Now it's relatively dry. I don't really feel it on my hands.
I think everyone in the shop has Dropsa. I mean, you can't smell anything. There's not anyone flooding over their tables, into the conveyor systems or anything like that. It's a lot smoother using Dropsa.
We are seeing a reduction in our overall oil consumption in the new Dropsa units that we have compared to our old ones, due to the fact that once we tune them in, we leave them set and forget them. We don't have to constantly maintain the settings.
And it's easy to regulate. Once I got my system regulated, didn't take long. I haven't touched it in 6 or 8 months. Once you get it set the way you want it, it just runs all the time.
The systems that we have with the MKD and the MQL, no moving parts, no maintenance on them, and we did the switch over to all air oil system instead of the coolant due to the maintenance.
I do believe that the tool life is definitely extended using the Dropsa system.
I don't know if it's double, but it's quite a bit because I've got cutters in there that have been in there for 6 months. And I run a lot. We run 2 shifts most of the time, and we run 7 days a week most of the time, and we cut a lot of parts there. You barely have any oil. You can't even hardly feel it, but it's just enough to keep the cutter lubricated.
The systems are now tuned into the point where the chips are almost dry. The table is almost dry.
You could grab a handful of my chips and you don't feel anything other than the chips itself. There's no moisture there.
We don't have this oil mess, this film over everything. We don't have the stickiness of the coolant. Everything is much cleaner, and therefore it's better on the machine.
It benefits everybody who gets that system because it's so much easier to operate.
We've never turned the coolant systems on our new machines that we had brought in. As a matter of fact, we probably never will. We're staying with the air oil system. It's much cleaner, no mess, no fuss, and a better product.
Our focus and goal is to allow customers the ability to easily adapt our products to the needs of their machines and processes.